Hello and welcome to the Shalom TV News Update. I'm Ron Jacobsohn, sitting in for Tisha Bader. As Israel is entering day 43 of Operation Protective Edge, this afternoon, Israel time, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has ordered to recall the Israeli delegation to the ceasefire negotiation talks in Cairo between Hamas and the Jewish state, following renewed effort to shell rockets out of Gaza onto the southern part of Israel. It is not known if the rockets were sent by the Hamas directly or by other fractions opposing the talks with Israel in Cairo. Nonetheless, as of now, the negotiations have been halted until further notice. The French news agency AFP claims the Israeli Air Force has been attacking the sites from which the rockets have been launched from in the Zaytun and Shaf districts, but not before the residents have been alerted and as a result have been seen fleeing their homes for shelters within UN-built schools. According to Israeli television reports, 10 targets have been successfully eliminated in that airstrike. The Israeli Security Services, the Shin Bet, has confirmed the arrest of over 90 Hamas operatives in the West Bank who during the last few months have smuggled into the Palestinian territories over $170,000 in cash and weapons worth millions, aiming to fund a third Intifada. Their plan was to instigate a series of massive attacks on Israeli targets, including the Temple Mount, in order to start widespread conflagration. Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas has called for an internal investigation by his security forces following the Israeli revelations. Abbas indicated that if true, this could severely impact the unity pact signed between Fatah and Hamas in June, saying it represents a grave threat to the unity of the Palestinian people and its future. As the United Nations Human Rights Council moves forward with its commission of inquiry into possible Israeli war crimes during Operation Protective Edge, pressure is mounting up for the International Criminal Court in The Hague to open its own investigation. Palestinian lawyers and international law scholars are pushing the ICC prosecutor Fatou Bensouda to launch an investigation, arguing that she has the jurisdiction to do so, while Bensouda herself is insisting on waiting for an official Palestinian request before pursuing such a move. An official request would require the approval of the Hamas, which would also most likely face scrutiny, and the PA, which is under intense American-Israeli pressure to avoid such a request. Meanwhile, the British grocery store chain Sainsbury is facing mounting criticism after a branch in Holborn, central London, removed all kosher foods from its shelves this weekend. According to the Guardian newspaper, the branch manager decided to empty the kosher food section, fearing violence from protesters who were gathering outside calling for a boycott on Israeli goods. Some witnesses, however, said that the food was removed not as a precaution, but in support of the protesters, with one Sainsbury staff member reportedly saying, "We support Gaza." A spokesperson on behalf of the chain said that the decision to eliminate kosher food was taken by the branch manager and had no reflection on the policy of the chain. She promised the food items will be returned promptly. According to a recent poll released by the Weekly Jewish Chronicle in London, most British Jews are questioning their future in the UK. The Jewish Chronicle's poll asked 150 people, since the protest against the war in Gaza began, have you or your friends had a discussion whether there's a future for Jews in the UK? Over 63% answered affirmatively. Anti-Semitic acts have surged in the UK in the past months as the Community Security Trust, a British anti-Semitism watchdog, recorded 240 incidents, which makes it the second worst month since the British records began. And finally, Maggie Gyllenhaal, who stars these days in the superb Sundance Channel miniseries The Honourable Woman about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, has revealed on a talk show, Live with Kelly and Michael, that she has recently found out that her parents have given her a Jewish name she has actually not known about. While changing her last name to her husband's, she had to find her birth certificate, which she has never seen before, and on it, it said that her given name is actually Margalit, which means pearl in Hebrew, and not Maggie as she has been called all her life. Gyllenhaal admitted to Kelly Ripa that she actually loves the sound of her real name a lot more than the name she has been known for all her life. And that wraps another edition of the Shalom TV News Update. I'm Ron Jacobsohn, sitting in for Tisha Bader.